Everything's topsy-turvy. Hang on.
3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Ooh, I'm Jamie.
I'm Ricky.
And this month we're talking about purity.
Yes, and we'll be doing an awesome challenge with these goggles that turns everything upside down.
So let's try these on.
Let's try them on.
Whoa. So everything that's actually down here is literally right here.
Weird. Okay, yeah, because I have to look up to look down, or down to look up. It's weird.
Hey, do you want to try to high five or something?
Where are you?
Okay, all right, yes, let's locate each other. All right.
Okay, I see.
This is your elbow.
Okay,
Oh.
All right, 1, 2.
Oh, we're just.
3.
Okay,
all right. I see your elbow, which is right there. 1, 2, 3.
We got each other! But before we get into our challenge, see, I feel much more steady when I look like this. Before we get into our challenge, we are talking about purity this month.
Yes, now when we say the word purity, what comes to mind?
Hey, maybe this illustration will help. Where do we think that illustration is?
Okay, is it, wait.
Up there. Ah, haha, I see the
There it is.
illustration.
Illustration.
So maybe you've heard of someone talk about having a pure heart. Oh gosh. Oh look, pure heart. There it is. But is that all that there is? Lights, please. Oh, poop. I don't know about you, but my poop has never smiled at me. It's generally not happy to see me, or I'm not happy to see it. See, when our culture talks about purity, are there actually hidden messages behind the images that we see? You know, things might seem perfect and pure, like TV and movie and all these things might say, this is pure, this is what it is. But actually, this might be hidden underneath sad, happy face, sad face, happy face. Or, you know what, maybe it's not just emotional. Maybe when you think of purity, it's this. But really, you feel this. It doesn't make you comfortable. Why are we talking about this? Talking about this because our culture doesn't always have the best definition when it comes to purity, right? It can be hard to find because here's the thing, sin contaminates. Anything it touches, it ruins, even though it might seem pure. You might look at this and say, there's nothing wrong with this. This is pure, this is good. But in actuality, this is what's underneath, something harmful. But here's the thing about purity, is that purity can't be contaminated by anything else. It's whole and it's healthy, it's not partial, and it's not harmful. In fact, Jesus even said in Matthew 5:8 is that blessed are those who are pure of heart, for they will see God. So what do you think about when it comes to purity? How do you recognize it? Maybe there might be something hidden underneath, or is it pure?
When you hear the word pure, what do you think of? Filtered water? A newborn baby, perhaps? Or maybe someone who's never even kissed anybody before. But what does it really mean to be pure? The world says that being pure is about always doing the right thing, not being around people who do the wrong things, and if you've done something wrong to someone, or if someone has done something wrong to you, then you're not pure anymore. The world also says that pure love is about feelings. That if you see someone that you really like and your heart just can't help but start beating really fast and you can't help but think about them all the time and fantasize about them, then that's love. But the reality is that love is not about what you do or feelings either. Pure love calls you to do what's best for and what honors someone, even if you might not feel like it. This also applies to what Jesus meant when he said to love others as you love yourselves, meaning that no matter how you feel, you can still love yourself. Just because you might feel dirty, that doesn't mean that you are dirty. Not unless you need to take a shower, but let's not worry about that right now. Overall, purity is about the condition of your heart. So how do we get a pure heart? When you accept Jesus as your Lord, he does the purification for you. He refines and purifies and fills up our hearts as we spend time with him so that his pure love is what flows out of us. So that also means that it's very important to pay attention to the other things that we allow ourselves to be filled with. Negative influences in music, TV, social media, and the people around us can and will contaminate the purity of our hearts if we're not careful. But again, purity is not about what we do, but who we are. So that means if your identity is in Christ, then God sees you as pure as he sees his son, Jesus. And when we seek to be filled with Jesus and the things of God and not the things of the world, then we can be the pure, loving, and positive influence in other people's lives. But that's still not an excuse to not take a shower, because you're not a baby. Seriously, go take a shower.
All right, so there's a prism inside the goggles that make our vertical view look vertical.
Yeah, I think that's how it works. So the world can have a distorted view of what it takes to make a pure heart.
Speaking of distorted views, do you want to see if we can make Valentines while wearing these glasses?
I would love to. So here are the terms of our challenge. We need to make a Valentine that looks exactly like our example right here, using the provided upside down glasses, and our Valentine must have these 4 things. 2 hearts, so like heart outside, heart inside, the sentence, "Be my Valentine," decorative glitter, and lace. Without further ado, goggles on.
Goggles on. That's the noise you have to make when you put on goggles.
Okay. Okay. Oh, you know what?
Whoa.
I didn't realize how sharp these scissors were. And, no. No.
I found the glue in my
This
goggles.
is gonna be so difficult.
So first we need the red.
Yeah.
Red. What is?
All right, let's see.
I can't pick it up. Okay, did you learn how you like fold the piece of paper?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm missing it.
Top that. Okay, there it goes. Then, look at that.
Oh, this is
I'm kind of
terrifying.
doing it. Wait, no, I lost it immediately. Okay.
This is absolutely terrifying. I've never been scared while making a Valentine. This is very odd. I just can't see it. Whoa. Ricky, I have to say, whatever you're doing, it sounds like you're doing great over there.
Oh, thanks, Jamie.
Yeah.
It's not trying to shape down the heart. I keep on losing sight of it. Okay, let's see. These hearts are nowhere even close to being the
this isn't
same
gonna-
shape. All right, now give me some adhesive. Here we go. Here we go.
All right, B. How does my B look? Yes? How does it?
It looks like glue.
E.
Where'd it go? No!
All right, glitter me.
Okay. And we have glue.
I am going to
Okay, good.
dust my glitter off.
Your glitter got all over me.
What? No, it didn't.
Was that intentional, Jamie?
No.
I don't believe you one bit. Okay, the
Scissors.
Valentine.
Glitter.
Jamie, do you have some glitter over here?
I do. All right. I see it here
glue.
somewhere.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, good
There it
idea.
goes.
Just go by feel.
Yeah,
Go
let's
by
see.
feel.
Brooke here, talking about the subject of purity. I'm thinking about this and I'm like, what does the definition of that even look like in our culture today? Like, is there a way for it to be humanly possible for us to actually be pure? When I think about purity, I think about things that like white, pretty snow or like a glass of clear drinking water. But in reality, we know that those things aren't clear. They're not pure. And so the question is, what does that look like for us? What does purity look like in our life? And what does the Bible say about this? Well, it talks about it when it talks about holiness. And so right now, I want you guys to lean in and listen to this next clip.
You've probably heard the word holy before, or at least sang it in a church song once or twice. And for most people, this idea is really just connected to being a morally good person. So God is holy because he's morally perfect.
Yeah, that is part of it. But in the Bible, the idea of holiness is even bigger and more rich. What it's really describing is how God is the creative force behind the whole universe. He's the one and only being with the power to make a world full of such beauty and life. And so all these abilities, they make God utterly unique, which is the meaning of the word holy. So a helpful way to think about God's holiness is by using the sun as a metaphor. The sun is unique, at least within our solar system, and it's really powerful. It's the source of all this beautiful life on our planet. And so you could say that the sun is holy. And you can actually take this metaphor even further in that the whole area around the sun is also holy.
Yeah, because the closer you get to the sun, the more intense it gets.
Yeah, exactly. So that very power and goodness that generates all this life is also dangerous. I mean, the sun, if you get too close, will annihilate you. And in the same way, there's this paradox at the heart of God's own holiness, because if you're impure, his presence is dangerous to you. And not because it's bad, but because it's so good. And so the first time we see this paradox of God's holiness, it's in the story of Moses and the burning bush.
So God tells Moses to take off his sandals because he's standing on holy ground. And Moses covers his face in fear, and God says, hey, don't come any closer. It's intense.
It's actually that intensity of God's holiness that's explored even more in the stories about Israel's temple, which was the main place where God's holy presence was located. And at the center of the temple was this room called the Most Holy Place, this the hot spot of God's presence. And whether you're an Israelite living in the land around the temple or a priest working right in the temple, you're in proximity to God's holy presence, which is dangerous.
Yeah, this is a problem. So instead of becoming pure first and then going into the temple, here God's holiness comes out from the temple, making things pure and bringing them to life. What does it all mean?
So we don't know until we meet this man, Jesus. And he claims that he's fulfilling all of these ancient visions, but in surprising new ways. So Jesus, he went around touching people who are impure, people with skin diseases, a woman with chronic bleeding, or dead people. And when he touches them, their impurity should transfer over to Jesus, but instead, Jesus' purity transfers to them and actually heals their bodies.
Jesus is like that holy coal in Isaiah's vision.
Right. And Jesus claimed that he was the human embodiment of God's own holiness, and that he and his followers were now God's temple, so that through them, God's holy presence would go out into the world and bring life and healing and hope. And so this is why Jesus described his followers as having streams of living water flowing out of them.
So this is our part of the story where we find ourselves now, but where's this all heading?
So the last pages of the Bible end with a final vision about God's holiness. And this time it's by a guy named John. And in his vision, we see the whole world made completely new. The entire earth has become God's temple. And Ezekiel's river is there, flowing out of God's presence, immersing all of creation, removing all impurity, and bringing everything back to life.
All right, I think I am good.
Oh, wow. Yours looks so good.
I don't believe you one bit. Oh, goodness. Yours looks this good too.
No, you're lying.
Yeah.
Good thing this isn't a lesson about lying. So, Ricky and I would like to know, will you guys be our Valentine?
Pure heart. Does it look like this?
Or does it look like this?
Not these things. Yeah, I think the world can have an upside down view of what a pure heart looks like.
But through holiness, Jesus shows us what real purity looks like.
Yes, blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God.
Thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
Happy glitter times.
And enjoy the ride.
Hey, I really appreciate you watching the Loop
I
Show.
really gotta pee.
I really want to just take the time to thank
Hurry,
everyone
Ricky.
for liking,
Gotta
subscribing,
pee in my pants. I really
sharing, just, you know, just showing up on a platform.
I can't wait, I gotta pee.
Thanks.